Welcome back, friends and family of the internet and fellow watchers on the wall. By the way, let me tell you what that means. In the Bible, God talked about people that stood along the walls of a city watching. And either they would ring a bell or blow a horn or start a fire if they saw trouble coming while others were sleeping. And that, my friend, is what you and I are doing. We are watchers on the wall. We're looking at everything happening. We're praying about it. We're talking about it. And then we raise awareness for those who might not yet be awake. And that's okay because the Lord's going to wake us all up on time, right? Just can I get an amen? So, what I'm going to do today, real quick, is I need to lay the groundwork for a few things before I show you one of the most disturbing clips I've ever come across. And if you hear the noise in the background, that is me deep cleaning for Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving around the world, whether you celebrate it or not. We're also going to talk about two movies or series that have come out in the last couple of years that I think you should be very aware of. One is called Orphan Black, about cloning programs, and the other is Sleepy Hollow and talking about the four horsemen and the apocalypse. Very interesting. We're going to catch that at the end. Today, I want to give you some groundwork before I show you this clip so you can actually believe what they're saying in the clip. Because, friends, it is completely unbelievable until you look at the science before you look at the clip. And then it's undeniable. The truth is directly in front of our face. And it's our job, your job, my job to really take a look at this. Hold on, let me get rid of this floating bar up here. Please make sure you're still subscribed. Hit the like button so that you don't miss anything. Ring your notification bell. Now, I kind of fast forwarded through the article for you guys, and I got down here where it says implications for human traits and health. We're talking about the possibility of a third helix. So, DNA is two helixes and they twist, right? Could humans survive with a third helix? And what would happen if they had that? So I started looking, and it says here altered genetic processes from a triple helix DNA would have far reaching consequences for human traits and health. If replication were less efficient or error prone, cells might divide more slowly, impacting growth and development. Here's what I want you to take from this: it is more important what they are not saying than what they are saying. So they're saying if replication was less efficient or error prone with the triple helix, it could possibly slow down cell division or impact growth and development. I want you to invert that. If replication was more proficient, then cells would divide faster. People would be stronger and develop faster. This would, and then they go on, this would manifest as reduced overall size, slower healing, or delayed maturation. I'm saying that if it did work and the cells were correct, then you'd get the opposite. You would get an increased size, they would heal faster, and they would mature faster. And so I wanted to point that out. It just talks about that there would be a possibility for being susceptible to diseases. An elevated mutation rate could increase cancer risk as uncontrolled cell growth would arise from genetic errors. Genetic disorders might become more prevalent or present differently. The unique structure might offer resistance to certain pathogens or environmental toxins. Again, let me right here. The unique structure might offer resistance to certain pathogens or environmental toxins. So we've talked a lot because my friend and I just wrote a book, Growing Under a Poison Sky. We talk about all the toxins that they are dumping, and I can prove it with patents, with agreements between states and businesses. It's all referenced in the book. And I'll link it in products in case you want to purchase our book, because I don't just tell you what they're dumping. I tell you how to clean your body, your soil, your water. Because, friends, you and I don't have a triple helix. But the point is the health profile of humans, they're telling you there are humans with it. Look, the health profile of humans with triple helix DNA would be fundamentally different with new vulnerabilities and unexpected strength. So there would be unexpected bonuses, unexpected strengths if people naturally had a triple helix. So now that I've shown you that, let me keep going because this is going to blow your mind. You see the baby? This is called ectolife. This is a lab-grown baby in artificial womb at ectolife facility. Note, it does not say that this is fake. It says this is a lab-grown baby in an artificial womb at ectolife facility. This is a controversial clinic, expects to develop 30,000 lab-grown babies yearly. The developer expects technology will be used around the world within the next 10 to 15 years. Parents would be able to watch the growth and development of their child in a see-through womb while monitoring through a health app. Where is this located? Germany. I firmly believe that there is a 1930, 1940 baby project that was started during the Nazi reign. I firmly believe it. I have repeatedly found proof of that. Now, I want to show you what they admit in this article. It says the concept is the brainchild of Berlin-based Hashim Al-Galala, however you say it. He says the facilities would allow infertile couples to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents. A so-called elite package would allow you to genetically engineer the embryo before implanting it in the artificial womb. Everything from eye to hair color to strength, height, and intelligence can be chosen, and inherited genetic diseases avoided. Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, which is powered entirely by renewable energy. According to WHO, the World Health Organization, around 300,000 women die from pregnancy complications every year. Ectolife artificial womb is designed to alleviate human suffering and reduce the chances of a C-section, as well as preterm births. Let me go down. Here's a picture of it. It's insanity. Look at that. Look at that thing, you guys. Pod for lab-grown babies at Ectolife facility. Excuse me. Now, here's where I want you to understand. Every single feature mentioned in the concept is 100% science-based and has already been achieved by scientists and engineers. So again, this has already been achieved by scientists and engineers. It says now the only thing left is to build prototypes in a time frame depends on ethical guidelines. Right now, research on human embryos is not allowed beyond 14 days. After 14 days, embryos must be destroyed due to ethical concerns. So if we have to destroy embryos at 14 days for ethical concerns, why do we allow abortions past the first 2 weeks? Think about it. If these ethical restrictions are relaxed, I give it 10 to 15 years before ectolife becomes widely used. Add 5 years for public awareness and education to help people become more receptive to the technology. So they need 5 years to brainwash people on how they see this technology. I mean, they admit everything to you. It goes on that says every building can incubate 30,000 lab grown babies per year. The pods are equipped with a screen that displays real time data that you can get on your phone. It allows your baby to develop in an infection free environment. When I first started making videos on YouTube, you can go look. I have a playlist called Everything Organic. In there, I talk about the fact that they have recently found upwards of 27 pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides found in the amniotic fluid of pregnant women. Now, I have repeatedly said, what does acide mean? ICIDE. It means to kill. So if it's pesticide, it's to kill the pest. If it is fungicide, it is kill the fungus. If it is suicide, it is to kill, you know what I'm saying? So I think they're going to be able to poison the environment enough in the next 10 to 15 years through stratospheric spraying, through bleaching of the oceans with reflecting the sunlight, that people are going to realize that they're going to have to take them up on this to have a healthy baby. It says every growth pod features sensors that can monitor your baby's vital signs, including heartbeat, temperature, blood pressure, breathing rate, and oxygen saturation. There's a reason I'm proving this to you now before I show you the video that you are not going to want to believe. It says the artificial intelligence, the AI based system, also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities. So it says it reports it. At some point, it'll be able to go in and fix it. Because babies are thought to recognize language and learn words while still in the womb, Ectolife growth pods feature internal speakers that play a wide range of words and music to your baby. I bet they do. An app allows you to choose the playlist your baby listens to and the ability to sing directly to them for them to gain familiarity with your voice. Our goal is to provide you with an intelligent offspring that truly reflects your smart choices. The Elite package allows you to genetically engineer the embryo before you implant it in the artificial womb. Thanks to CRISPR gene editing tool, you can edit any trait of your baby through a wide range of over 300 genes. You can genetically engineer a set of genes. The Elite package allows you to customize your baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. It is also allows you to fix an inherited genetic disease that may be part of your family history so that your baby and their offspring will live a healthy, comfortable life free of genetic diseases. Here's a whole bunch of little lab grown babies in their little artificial wombs, but they're all white, you know. Each group of pod is connected to two central bioreactors. The first bioreactor contains nutrients and oxygen, which are supplied to your baby through an artificial umbilical cord. This bioreactor also contains a liquid solution that serves as the amniotic fluid that surrounds your baby as if it was in the mother's uterus. It is rich of vital hormones, growth factors, and antibodies that sustain your baby's growth and development. Thanks to a system controlled by artificial intelligence, your baby receives custom nutrients tailored to their needs. The second bioreactor is designed to eliminate any waste products produced by the baby, which are transferred by the artificial umbilical cord. With the help of a delicate layer of engineered enzymes, the second bioreactor can then recycle waste products and turn them back into useful nutrients. This way, the facility ensures a steady and sustainable supply of fresh nutrients for your baby. So baby A poops and baby B ingests. The birth process is done by a push button. Boop. Baby A is birthed. Baby B is birthed. Baby C is birthed. Echo Life provides you a safe, pain-free alternative that helps you deliver your baby without stress. The delivery process is smooth and convenient and can be done with just the push of a button. After discharging the amniotic fluid from the artificial womb, you will be able to easily remove your baby from the growth pod. Everything is perfectly designed so you and your partner can enjoy the delivery process. Even if your child is born in an artificial womb, parents will need to check out the Best Baby Monitor. Hmm. Baby in a Pod. I want to show you this article next. It says the world's first artificial womb. I hate all these pop-up ads. It's so ridiculous. As soon as I say it, they pop it up, right? Where's the X out? All right. So it shows you here what it's going to look like, right? If you imagine a baby being produced in a factory-like environment and what looks like a scene from Keanu Reeves' Matrix, a video of Rose, a baby is being grown inside of a pod, has got many talking about the future of pregnancies. It is the world's first artificial womb facility. It is a facility already built. Please don't get that mixed up. This is already produced. It's ready to go. This is a molecular biologist by trade. What is the man who created this, right? I just, there's no coincidences, right, Erica Kirk? And so the fact that this is in Germany, where they did everything that they did during the 1930s and 40s, should tell you something. So they're expecting 30,000 babies a year from these growth pods. It says that it plans to house 75 labs, each equipped to grow 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. I want to show y'all where it said, where's it at? Oh, here it is. Read more. That this technology has been around for 50 years. Already read you all that. 1 second. They're saying they can help countries facing the problem of a declining population, Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, among others. It goes on to say that the film, okay, it aims to facilitate infertile couples to become parents of their own biological offspring. The filmmaker believes the technology can be a solution for women who have had their uteruses removed due to cancer or other factors. What experts say, experts believe the technology is not that far fetched and could become a reality in the future. From a theoretical standpoint, it's possible. It's just a matter of providing a correct environment with both fuel and oxygen. And I think the technologies are there to achieve it. There are lots of examples where babies come out extremely early and are very well looked after in incubators, which is a very naive form of what we're talking about. They're being fed by tubes down to their stomach. And he said, and the artificial womb should not be as challenging. It should not be as challenging as keeping an early baby from basically passing, you guys. So they have, it says here, listen to this. Professor Joyce Harper, head of reproductive science and society group at UCL, Institute for Women's Health, told HuffPost UK, I have no doubt that at some point, most people will be produced by IVF. And that has ectolife would be a possibility in science. I think you should never say never. All right, so we got that one down. Let's do this one. Germany's earliest roots. Now, I had this pulled up on my phone, and I don't know why it gave me this. let me see if I can locate it real quick. It is an article from the Trumpet that talks about Germany's earliest roots. Like, who are they really? Um, and all I can say is that Germany is this is it is actually Assyria from the Bible, right? So after World War II, Winston Churchill condemned the German state of Prussia as the root of all evil. Okay. So let me go down here because this is a very long article and it just talks about where they come from. Uh, this is not the right article. Sorry, I just realized that. Anyway, it just says the lost 10 tribes of Israel is a thing, right? In the Bible, we hear about the 10 tribes, the lost 10 tribes. We've always talked about that. They were lost because of the Assyrian siege of Jerusalem in 701 BCE. All throughout the Bible, we see Lot, Abraham, and others fighting against the Assyrians. In modern times, who are the Assyrians? It's Germany. This is important because it answers why the Nazi Party and the people of Germany, Ukraine, Poland essentially turned a blind eye to the millions of Jewish and Gypsies, Romanians, being unalived. Okay? Why would they do that? Because their roots are the Assyrians. Guys, this gets deep. I will link that article for you because you need to understand that when you hear what they're talking about here. This is a woman. Her name is Priscilla. She is a 1940s baby project out of Germany. She has multiple genetic parents because they used something like CRISPR to gene edit a royal bloodline in her. She had the ability to be underwater for hours like a mermaid. She had it, she was grown, literally grown, you guys, in an incubator, a baby pod. She was kept on ice in what she calls a blue ball for 40 plus years until the 80s when they finally decided it is time to birth her. But she was kept in her baby incubator longer than 9 months. She thinks it's longer than closer to 2 years as they slowly introduced certain chemicals and like salt water into the amniotic fluid that surrounded her to make her genetically able to survive what they bred her for.
You're
And
doing it.
and and God told me, yes, it will. He didn't show me how. That's the interesting part, because he didn't show me exactly what my life would be and how it would be bring glory to him. And that's when my spirit said, well, I want to be obedient and I want to just do it, and kind of like there was faith. And that is when I got implanted, and or when God gave life to my cells.
Surrogate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
my cells.
I have a couple questions, but I want to preface it with something that I learned that I think is so cool. When children are, conceived, they grow in the, because of the placenta. And I just found out that the placenta is 100% the father's DNA. And so as you're talking about this, I'm imagining that even though you were in this ball and you didn't have a placenta yet, you had God like surrounding you and nurturing you and actually, asking for, your will to be done with him, and
Yeah.
so I just thought that was so pretty. But how long were you a blue ball
Well, I was
or bowl?
I was in my blue bowl for, I don't know, what's it, like 42 years, I think. So like in and outside, like from freezer to blue bowl back to freezer, because the blue bowl does not live very long outside of the true, like the freezer.
The proper technology.
Yeah. And after that, so that would be, I don't know exactly. I think it was somewhere in, like, my passport tells me that I was born in 86, and normally you would count back 9 months. But then
I want to stop it here before we go any further. We have been talking about this a lot on this channel. Hybrids, IVF, triple helix DNA. We're just starting to really get into what the Nephilim, the fallen angels, are doing in the seed war as we get closer to the end times, because we know Jesus himself told us it will be like the days of Lot, like the days of Noah when I return. So all of this genetic stuff happened then we had the flood, and now it's coming back. And it's been happening for at least 100 years, because I truly do believe her when she says that her, they put the cells together and then they froze her embryo, basically. But did you hear what she said? God breathed the breath of life into me. She really struggled with that for a very long time, because they had her convinced that only Lucifer could give her life, because it was his minions, his dark force that was mixing and matching and bringing life to her physical body. But God himself spoke to her and assured her only he can breathe life. So I do firmly believe in the Bible where it says, preach the gospel to all creatures, that is not a mistake. That if they are walking and talking, they had the breath of life. God gave them life. It does not matter that Satan tried to steal them or to destroy them or to create them as a force for evil. They, like us, have a right to life. So I know there's been a lot of debate on here about that. People saying, well, they're soulless, they're this. We don't know that. If they have genetic material and they're made out of flesh and bone, that is impossible. For that to have been brought to life, it means that God had to have breathed life into it. Even though Satan's trying to claim that it was him that brought life, he cannot. So those people that are being cloned, those people that are being created in labs, those elite package babies, they have the breath of life, friends and family, and it is your responsibility and mine to preach the gospel.
I was not placed in a human womb, but in an artificial womb. And then time goes a bit different, because they like to do a lot of experiments and stuff like that. So just to, yeah, I mean, obviously, again, they're not gonna put pictures on like, this is what we're working with. This is a very, it's a scientific interpretation of people imagining what artificial wombs would look like. But the reason why I chose this picture is because you can see the monitoring. You can see all the wires, and there is no protection from the light. So it's like you're in the light all the time. And they monitor everything that goes on, and there's things that are being monitored, but they can also put stuff inside the artificial womb to either bring trauma or to edit some of the stuff that they want to change, or they want to see, they want to what's the word, that you get used to something,
acclimate,
or condition you to
or condition,
get used
to condition.
like they add for example, salt, into the watery substance that is in there, to get you used to high levels of salt, or other chemical things, and which makes you in your parts, that you are very much able to deal with it. For example, for me, as my career as a mermaid, they would put specific stuff in the artificial womb to get me used um, to oceans, or to specific things that happen in the ocean. Um, um,
Like even maybe
they,
pressurization, like even because I know as you go into the depths, it
yeah,
becomes more and more dense.
Yeah.
yeah, things like that. Yeah, good, very good example. Um, and that is the way, and they can very well see where your boundaries are, like how much you can take, because they are monitoring everything. And that is with the babies that are placed in natural woman. um, it's much harder, and a lot of either the mother dies or the baby dies, because um, they can't monitor it as closely.
Right.
um, and they have 24/7 access. I mean, you're there,
Well, and
lying in the.
think about this too, like 40 some years in a lab. That means you probably had hundreds of different scientists coming in and out, because if somebody started working on it when they were in their 50s during the war, and then they're not going to still work on you when they're 80 something. And so that's kind of mind-blowing. But do you have any idea of how many of your type of wombs actually like came to fruition? And is it just mermaids, or is there also werewolves or vampires or some other leprechauns? I don't know.
Well, I mean, Carmen, there is like there are so many jobs in the cult. Like, think about the military programming, and the everything that they do on the military sites. That is the I mean, we're talking about. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't put in that picture, because I have a picture with these wombs, artificial wombs, but then you can see like thousands of them.
Oh, wow.
And that is this was not um, in your nearby hospital, right? This you don't find this stuff, but
we know they're in Berlin because I just read that to you, right? See, you won't believe it until I prove to you that the science is there. This is interesting.
you get
Listen.
more power, which means that people will get afraid of you, and you don't have to be afraid of them. That's why part of why you want to grow in power, because there's a lot less people or entities to be afraid of.
Yes.
And but you will never get above a fallen angel. Like, you can get ranking over some kind of entities, or start working together with them, and there is but with fallen angels, it's a different ball game.
It's crazy, because I just hadn't thought about them being on Earth until just now. I just I thought they were all like down in, what do they call it, Tartarus, or bondage of some sort.
Yeah, some of them are, because that's the Bible is very clear about that. Some of the fallen angels that what was it that went into the woman of the earth? Some of them were, I
Yeah.
think it's Peter or Jude who writes
Jude.
about it. Yeah. Um, so, but Jude is very clear that not all of the fallen angels were, because
Mm.
if then of course Lucifer would be bound as well.
That's true.
Mm. Mm.
It's just mind blowing. Amanda, do you have anything that you want to add to that whole, is there something that you think is important that she hadn't mentioned about either the blue bowl or the artificial womb, or just even where we are at this point in time as Christians?
Yeah. Okay. Well, just to understand that with the conception, you've got witches and warlocks and high-ranking humans, and also the fathers, the royal fathers, like the kings and the queens and whoever's involved in the bloodline, are also standing around this little, the petri dish, basically, in the lab, and they speak horrific curses of the destiny of Satan for the child.
Remember when I did the Erica Kirk first and second clone video? If you've not watched it, go watch it. And we talked about the Nazis baptizing these babies into their belief systems, right? And now we find out that the Nazis, they call themselves Aryans. They are the descendants of the Assyrians who hounded and hunted the Jewish people for all of time. Now we find that the bloodlines of Europe's royalty, all the way back to Nimrod, I'll link all that. I don't have time for that today. We got Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'll link it all in description for you to do your own research. But you guys, I just proved to you in the scientific articles that you could pick playlists because it is proven that these babies can hear you. My dad told me something when I first started my education degree, because, I went and got a master's, a master's in early childhood, a master's in special ed. I have a master's in regular ed. I'm certified in English as a second language and dialects. I'm also certified in regular ed first through sixth. And I was talking to my dad one day when I was working on linguistics. We were talking about how early babies can begin speaking. And my dad, who just got his GED, never went to college, but he's extremely intelligent because he loved to read World Book encyclopedias and all that stuff. He was like, Samantha, if their vocal cords were in the right place and they had the muscles to hold their heads up, they would be speaking when they came out of the womb. And I'm like, no, Dad, they have to learn. And he goes, no, Samantha, they learn all of that in the womb. Lo and behold, as I'm learning, as I'm studying a few years later in this class, I had a professor that, did a lot of studies on in utero, how babies learn. A lot of times, kids get referred for speech, but it's not a speech problem. It is a linguistic problem. So everybody in that family and in that community pronounce a word a certain way. That is not a speech issue. That is just a my brain went blank. But anyway, it is an area issue, in other words. So there's a fine line between children who actually have speech impediments and children who speak like the people in their community. So when I have my godchild, sometimes when I'm being very clear and articulate, he has an issue being able to understand exactly what I'm saying to him. So I will drop unnecessary words and mumble just a little bit, and he can understand me perfectly. Because in our community, a lot of people talk like this, and it's real. I mean, Where you going? What's up? When you going to come back? It's very hard sometimes to understand what they're saying because they do not take the time to articulate each and every syllable. That is why I push back on people so hard when they want to continually correct me, because I'm not going to say farm. I say form. But I also know that if right now you ask the computer to tell you what I said, it's going to tell you that I said FORM because I made the or sound, not the R sound. It's just linguistics are, regional dialects is very interesting. But the fact that they're speaking to these babies curses is also very telling and is scientifically proven.
And then in the case of the 1944 project, which was the whole Hitler thing, and he had to prepare a way to have the fallen angels come through again so that they would impregnate the 1944 woman, prepare them for the Nephilim, because remember that everything had shut down. There were still giants around with David and Goliath, and they also saying that the daughter-in-laws of Noah were not clean, and they carried the gene of the giants, the fallen ones inside of them. But it was Noah and his sons that were pure and perfect in all their ways. But that's not the way we understand perfect. It just means that DNA was not messed with, wasn't tampered with.
Got it.
I've had people come on, they're like, oh, giants survived the flood, the Nephilim. No, guys, stop adding to God's word. He built an ark. He told Noah, I am going to flood everything. You had better get 2 of every animal. And I believe the Holy Spirit led those, or a large angel probably led those animals onto the ark because everything's going to die. Everything. You don't think God would have supposed that they were going to run down into all the bowels of the earth and try to block the water? Try to block water when you're underneath it. It finds a way in, friends. God knew what he was doing. It's why that flood lasted 40 days. Because he wanted to make sure that everything that thought it could outsmart him died. And it is understood by some of the best biblical minds that the reason the giants pop back up later in the Bible is because of Noah's daughter-in-laws. Noah and his line were the last righteous, the last pure blood people. They were the last. But the daughter-in-laws carried some of the genetic, which is why you see a smaller version that fights David than you see earlier in the Bible.
And so then they would upload these babies heavy, and then the conception, of course, and then while everything's happening there around the petri dish, they then do the splicing. I think Chris did say that they do the splicing, and decide how many siblings, identical siblings they will have. Twins are not enough, so they will have triplets or 4 or 5, depending on the assignment. And then they would, like with Priscilla, the first 3 years of her life, she grew up with Nephilim. So it was in the Temple Mount, that's where the birthing trough is, where the woman gave birth to the Nephilim. And so then they waited around for the 44 project. So when you find a royal and she's a 44 project, in other words, she is a Nephilim mother, and she can now, they've given her the 3rd DNA strand overlay, which then enables her to give birth, to receive the seed of Satan, and then give
that gives me the chills.
they'll explain to you how horrible it is to go through that sexual experience. You split again into all the dust. I mean, there's nothing left of you. It's just raw evil. And then, so they are now ready as women, and then they grow up. And so the first woman they called the Grand Dame, and she then, these little babies, these little 1944 project, these little ones were put into the womb of a woman they chose, and she was 16 years old, and her name was Anastasia, from the Russian line.
Mm-hmm.
And 16 years old. And remember, they wiped out the Tsars. They killed them all, but they kept her alive. And they put all these little ones inside of her, so she was like their mother. That was the only time that they were in a womb, because all the death energy, they were murdering her, raping her, all the stuff they were doing to her was being downloaded on these little ones, the inside of her womb. And in preparation for Satan's plan, for Hitler's plan. And
now, as hard as it is to hear that, being an early childhood specialist, I would always, when I got a child who had extreme behavior problems, would talk to the biological mother, if at all possible. And I would ask those questions. Did anything really bad happen when you were pregnant? And she'd be like, what do you mean? And I'm like, anything at all. Severe car accident. Your parents died. Your grief was great. For months of your pregnancy, you cried. Anything. You were sexually assaulted. You listened to a lot of heavy metal. You were doing drugs. You were being verbally abused, physically abused. Like, did these things happen while you were pregnant? You have got to understand what is happening inside of that uterus when a woman is pregnant, even if it's for a short period of time. The baby is absorbing energy from the mother to grow. They have proven that when a mother is extremely depressed or angry, when those children are born to her, those babies are either what I call gun shy, and they're like really badly, like way worse than what's normal, or they're very unhappy babies. I mean, those things can be changed. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for just love and how amazing He made us to be able to face the things done to us. But please don't believe that these things aren't possible they're talking about. The occult know it. So we need to stop acting like we don't, right?
And King George VI was the last living king, human king. So his sperm was taken to, to do the conception with these little ones. And so he was like the father of the Hitler Project. And Mengele was now the doctor, and they were doing all sorts of channeling and all sorts of things, around the little ones. So they were being uploaded with death energy. And so when it came to the concentration camps and all the death of the Jews, they channeled all that death energy into them. And so that's why they feel everything about them is death. It's just death, 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 death. There's no life. And so that's why Chris said to me, but God didn't give me life. Lucifer did. Because at times when she would die and go through near-death experiences, Lucifer would breathe his breath into her. And so she was living on the breath of Lucifer. And the blue ball, as we saw it, has got the energy of Lucifer. And he keeps the babies alive. So then he tells them, you owe me your life. So that's what they believe. You know, that's the only frame of reference they've got. And so the first lady was born, and she had got the overlay. She looks very much like the queen, very much daughter of the queen. And then
just rewinding just for a little bit, just for clarity. What bloodline is Priscilla from, or can she say, like, which royals around the world is she connected to?
Yeah.
Well, I'm primarily connected to the English royal bloodline.
Okay.
Yeah. And they can be traced back all the way back to Nimrod in the Bible.
Yeah. And
Nimrod in the Bible is the Assyrians, friends and family of the internet. I know it's a lot. Please make sure you hit the like button. Even if you don't like the content, I need you to still hit the up button, all right? Because if you don't, it kills it in the algorithm.
Of the building. Imagine if actually it went a lot further underground, you know? You have to ask, why are the doors, etc., so huge? Who were they built for? Even around the back here of Parma Cathedral. I mean, look at the size of these doors. You can see where they had to cut out normal size doors within whatever there was there before. Absolutely gigantic. Look at the intricacy on all of the antiquitech that we see, which is repeated over and over and over again, all over the building, to the same standard, you know? Can you imagine trying to do that with hand and chisel? It's like laser precision that we're looking at.
All right. So I'm going to play this one now. I'm going to jump over. I want to show you something. I talked about earlier about them having like a mobile phone. Oh, there's some wild stuff out there. Wild. Once you start to see it, you can't unsee it anymore. But look at this.
This is in the 1920s, and you'll never look at a fire hydrant the same after this, okay? These ladies have a transmitter receiver box in their hand. They wrap the cord around the fire hydrant that is grounded in the ground, electrical currents coming up, everything's connected in the city, and they make a call. They make a wireless call in the 1920s. Now, this is a smart city. This is a smart city using the Earth's natural currents to call somebody in the 1920s. What are we doing here? Why are we getting excited about the little technology that we get after it was invented or found hundreds of years ago? Hundreds of years ago.
Did you guys know that? Oh, there's more that they have video of, pictures of, electric scooters. Like there is ancient depictions of cell phones. I know.
You and I, people from 200 years ago would laugh at us. They could speak 10 or 12 languages proficiently at the ages of 8, 9, and 10. They traveled extensively. They had their own practices as doctors by 19 and 20. You and I would be considered, I'm going to use this word, I don't care who I've been, we would be considered almost like retarded to them, like slow. They would think that we are slow, and we think we're so smart. Come on now. They're dumbing us down every generation, not the other way around.
Oh, I know I sound crazy. I can show you. Like literally ancient depictions of cell phones and computers. You guys think I'm joking. But I'll show you this one first, and then let me see if you guys want to see that. I'll show it. It's what they lied about everything. Every single thing.
I need to talk today because I don't want to be the person who tells you I told you so, but do you remember back in March when we all started to discuss what was potentially underneath the Great Pyramids in Egypt? The cylinder-like tubes that went down almost 2 miles into the ground. You remember that? And do you remember how so many people came as quickly as possible to say it's not true, it's absolutely false, that will never happen, no. Well, guess what? Recent scans show that
the one shown in the kind of 3D images and everything, yeah.
Those cylinder tubes are actually there, but that's just the tip of the iceberg because there are even larger ones that go on for miles and miles. And the guys who are in charge of this project just had a press conference debunking the naysayers who tried to come and say that there was nothing down there. Now here's where the cool stuff starts to show up. Not only have they proven that the cylinder-like structures and the chamber at the bottom of them do in fact exist at the bottom of the Great Pyramid, but all of the pyramids in the surrounding area have the exact same cylinder structures and chambers at the bottom that are all interconnected. Now here's where it gets extremely interesting. Not only do they believe that these structures and chambers were built by an even more advanced civilization, they believe that the Egyptians built the pyramids over top of these structures to cut off access to the inside of them. Oh yeah, and I can't forget to tell you that recent scans have also shown that there's something, a chamber of sorts, underneath the Sphinx, right near the pyramids too. And if your mind hasn't been blown enough already, they believe that these structures are over 38,000 years old. Hey, but you don't have to take my word for it, because anything that you want to know about now is at your fingertips, and you can go down the rabbit hole all for yourself, which is why I want to have this conversation with all of you today. Have you watched the press conference? Are you excited about what has now been confirmed at the bottom of the pyramids? Because I personally think this is going to finally shed light on everything we've been taught to believe is in fact a lie. And I want to have this conversation with all of you today, because this is groundbreaking.
They said it was a hoax. They said it was a conspiracy theory. They said we're all lying. That's what they said, guys. Is that what they told you? That's what they told us. And now it feels so good when people call you conspiracy theories and then the information finally comes out. I said this, I think, on a live stream, and somebody in the comments was like, that was debunked. That was like, it would be better if you say nothing. It would be better if you say nothing at all.
There's one I want to show you real fast. Yeah, because I had to look these up. I thought they were fake, dude. I'm not lying. I'm like, there's no way.
All
this
right,
is real.
let's see if this lets me add it. Oh, I hope so. I hope so. No, we got to figure out how we're going to do this another way. Oh, it lets me put it on here. Okay, great. Great. Let me see if it lets me. All right, so let me add this. Perfect. All right, so these are different ancient depictions. Let me see if it has music. Okay, good. It took the music off. Oh, no, it didn't. Never mind. I'm going to mute myself. I'm still glitchy. Gosh, this computer. I don't know what is going on. One day we'll get it fixed, but we're just going to ride it till the wheels fall off. I'm going to take myself off the screen for a second so we could just focus on this. Maybe I should have edited this so you can, I don't know way to make it bigger. Let's go to view. Oh, zoom in. Yay. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just not technologically advanced. I'm like us today. We're not technologically advanced. I'm going to take myself off because, again, I'm glitching and it's getting on my nerves. But you'll still be able to hear me. Okay. So let's go through this. Hopefully you can see it on the screen. So look at that. So you have this depiction of a what is that? Why can't I think? A tank, right? Some people say, well, you can't really tell. All right, let's keep it going. Are you going to play? Oh, you're not going to play. All right, I'll have to scroll it myself. I don't know what that is. I don't know some of these, I don't know what it is. Like this one, I didn't know what it was. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But look at that. Like, so this is the drawing of like what this actually is in like some type of spaceship of this ancient artifact. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is like the picture of what that is. I just want to make that clear. So the black and white one is the picture of the artifact, kind of what this was depicting. A spaceship or some type of like ship. I don't want to say space, but some type of traveling thing. Whoa, why are you going fast? Look at this depiction. Now this thing wants to start. Look, a creature. So a lot of people want to believe that's alien. We've been conditioned to believe that things that look like this are alien. We've been conditioned to believe that when things look like this, they're alien. Just because we've been conditioned to believe that doesn't mean it's alien. It's not something we see now, but we know there were all types of creatures and they were half human, half animal hybrids. This is known about Nimrod and what he produced. And he would mate with these animals and they would actually literally reproduce. This is why they were told not to, bestiality had to be commanded not to do. This is how bestiality, there's a reason they were commanded not to do bestiality, because all types of creatures and things were going on. Half human things, half human, half animal. It is written. Okay. All right. So I don't know what this is a depiction of. Hold on. Oh, here it is. This is the one. I may have to zoom it out. I don't know. Yeah, let's zoom this one out. This is the one that was, look at this, an ancient carving. This woman is on a computer. In fact, let me screenshot this so we can see it even better.
I'll link all of this in description. I had to look that one up. I was like, there is no way that's real. It's real. It's been in front of our face the whole time. But unless you're able to travel and see it yourself, they're very good at hiding it. Artificial womb opportunities. I want to point out this is a .gov website. When it is .gov, like up here, look up here, NIHGOV, National Institute of Health, federal government website. So people know. It says March 24th, 2023. Artificial womb opportunities and challenges for public health. It goes on to talk about 15 million babies are born preemie every year, with 1 million dying due to complications. That is from the World Health Organization. It goes on to say that the neonatal mortality is culminated in the development of artificial amniotic fluid, and placenta technology, commonly known as artificial womb, provides an environment for ectogestation of the fetus or the fetus. Ever since 1958, who developed the first artificial womb by cannulation of umbilical vessels, this technology has shown remarkable potential for improvement of clinical outcomes in critically preterm children. What date, friends and family? Please type it in the comment. 1958. And what happened in 1958? They developed the first artificial womb by cannulation of umbilical vessels. Currently working models of the technology include extrauterine environment for neonatal development, extend by Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, ex vivo uterine environment called Eve by Totoko University and University of Western Australia. The world's first artificial womb facility, Ectolife, was launched on December 9th, 2022 by a filmmaker and science communicator based in Germany. A what? A filmmaker, because you are conditioned through enter in and be containment of what the truth really is. If they convince you that it's just science fiction, it's only a fairy tale, You won't even believe your own eyes when you see it.
Previously on Orphan Black.
I saw a girl kill herself. She looked exactly like me.
She's got $75,000 in the savings account.
That's enough.
For what?
Set ourselves up with Kira somewhere.
Sarah, any second, someone's gonna ID the body and it's game over. Beth. Hi.
Hey.
Something's different. Get in the car, damn it!
What's the charge?
Don't, Beth. Not today.
Holy shite. Beth is a cop. I'm a cop. Let me finish what I started and then come back for you and Kira.
When is Mommy coming?
You're not her legal guardian. We're clones. We're like lab rats in an illegal experiment.
You're not Beth.
German's dead. Someone shot her right in front of me.
Holy shit, it's true.
What?
That someone is killing us.
Why would one of us be killing us? What is wrong with her?
The age of biotechnology is upon us.
If it were my experiment, I would put an observer close to the subject to keep tabs and accumulate data.
Where's Beth?
She killed herself. I took her identity. You're her monitor, aren't you? I know exactly who you are. You're a sleazy watcher spy. Ainsley?
This is high-level shit, Sarah. An illegal human cloning trial. There's 9 of you.
No, there's only one of me.
You are the original. You are the light.
What happened to you?
I don't know.
I think something bad is gonna happen again.
It's a match on the Jane Doe print.
Why the hell does she look like Beth?
Sarah Manning! Come on now! I didn't kill her.
You know who did?
This is Amelia. I'm your birth mother. I had twins, one to the state and one to the church. Helena.
I grew up pure in a convent in Ukraine. Killed someone I've been dreaming about my whole life. Sarah, we make a family, yes?
Helena does have a soul. She does have a purpose, and she is part of our family now.
He puts babies in all these women.
Yes. To multiply is divine.
Help!
You know him?
Are you my dad?
My name is Rachel Duncan, and we are going to come to terms.
You can't make a deal.
Nobody lays hands on me.
You don't own us.
We're sick. The little girls are dying.
Your attempts to make new clones should meet with failure.
I want the key to your cipher. Island of Dr. Moreau.
Professor Duncan gave it to me for a present.
Dr. Leakey, get in! You ruined my marriage. I quit! I whacked him. I didn't even mean to. Oh, God.
Okay, just relax, Johnny. It's not all well wrapped.
You're worried about the trunk?
Yes.
In 9 months, we'll be welcoming a brand new you into the world.
My father is the father. I'm carrying your baby.
Did you burn down the fish people's ranch?
No.
Auntie Cosima.
You will no longer be working with clones. Frankfurt. None of this is personal. If you let her die without me, it is personal. Kira gave her bone marrow to cure Cosima.
You may kiss the bride.
Sarah will never forgive me.
You did what you had to.
Or property. They want to make more of us. Take me to my babies. Restricted intellectual property. They patented us.
While Dyad carried female clones to term, the military faction carried the males.
You sure you want to know what this is all about?
Now there is a new one that has come out titled Orphan Black Echoes. Remember everything that you heard in the YouTube video about the blue bowls and the mermaid? Who are you going to believe? The young woman or the filmmaker? The young Christian woman that found Jesus even though they tried to give her to Lucifer? Now watch Sleepy Hollow. They tell us what's coming, but so does the Bible. It Okay, so you guys know how I've always told y'all that nobody gets a YouTube channel that grows into the millions without connections, right? There's no like normal growth. I just want to say thank you. You and I have worked so very hard and evolved so very much over the past 3 years, and look at us growing. This is not because we have people like sponsors. We are free to investigate anything and everything that we so choose to because nobody owns this YouTube channel but Jesus. And so, therefore, we can shine a light in all the darkness. I look at these large platforms and how intertwined they are, how all elitish they are, but they claim to be like us while riding on private jets, living in gated communities with private security. Come on now. Then you hear about people like Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTube channel ever. And you find that both mommy and daddy worked for DARPA. You can't make it up. But when somebody like me, who's got no ties, who has a redneck ironworking daddy and a homemaking bookkeeping mama, can make it this far on YouTube, I just have to say thank you. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. Am I going to get it 100% right all the time? Well, no, I'm not God. But I do bring amazing receipts, and I am good at finding those threads and pulling them together. Can I get an amen? And I do generally appreciate you guys that are on this journey with me. And yes, I've lost some good ones along the way because they were just unable to see the truth, or they were unable, they were not able to admit to themselves they had been played by either a podcaster or a politician. They weren't ready yet. And maybe one day they'll come back. Either or, you and I are still walking the walk, aren't we? And some of you have become more like family than just friends on the internet. And I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the ones of you that just let me grow as the Lord was ready for me to learn it, and then let the Lord show it to me. I don't do well when someone tries to force something down my throat. In fact, you're going to run into a wall with me because I feel like if I need to know it, the Lord's going to prepare me. Like I knew the science before I found the clip, before the clip was sent to me, the blue ball clip. When that got sent to me, I had already been studying on genetics and DNA. Therefore, when I listened, I knew it factually and I knew it spiritually that what I was hearing was truth. So, have an amazing Thanksgiving. For the ones of you that are members of our channel, I will have a Thanksgiving video for you guys only tomorrow. I appreciate you rowing in my boat and helping us because we do leave again December 14th, and we will be stuck in New Orleans for 6 straight nights while my husband goes through angiograms, full body MRIs, sonograms on his elbows, the tumors. It's from neurosurgery through ENT. It is one appointment after another. We live 2 hours one way. I can't drive 4 hours a day, 5 days straight. I'll burn up more gas and food feeding us because you got 2 hours for the appointment and then you're going to eat, right? So by the time we pay for 2 meals and the gas to get 90 miles there and that, no, not doing it. I'm actually, it's easier to spend the night. So if you'd like to donate to Stephen's, fundraiser that we're still running for medical expenses, he's not going to be able to work for a week. And we're going to have to stay in New Orleans because every day, some days there's 2 appointments, some days there are 1. but 3 different days he'll be sedated for these types of appointments. So there's no way, you guys. I can't, I'm not. And then I have to pay for a sitter to come stay at my home with my dogs and all of my livestock. So I'll link that fundraiser at the top of comments if you guys would like to hop in the boat for that. I would greatly appreciate it. And I think that's it. So for the ones of you who are members, I will have a video for you guys tomorrow. For the rest of you guys, I love you so very much. Thank you for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on Friday.